Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's live virtual conference with Our Hometown. My name is Matt Larson. I'm the president and CEO of Our Hometown. And today we're going to be talking about the top 6 innovations in local online news that we've seen this year. And this is a special conference today. This is actually brought to you by Lion Publishers. I don't know if everyone on the call is familiar with it. We've got a lot of Our Hometown customers on today that may not have ever heard of Lion, but this is the local independent online news publishers association. Really cool group, fantastic working with them. We're proud to be sponsors this year and proud to be part of this webinar series. So welcome to all publishers from Lion. And so now what I'd like to do is actually introduce my panelists. We have not publishers on with us today, but we have from our publisher support team, Terry and Vera calling in to help me out today. Can you both hear me okay?
Hey, Matt.
Hey, Terry, how are you?
Hey, Matt, yes, I can hear you.
Okay, great. Good afternoon, both of you. So let's jump right into it here. And if everyone could please locate the questions area of the GoToWebinar control panel. Type your name, a quick hello, maybe drop the name of your paper or your website in there just so we can get to know you a little bit better. And I actually have a question coming up for you in a minute, so please locate that questions because we're going to be using that a lot. The key thing with this, hey Wes, welcome, is all with the interaction. So I just want to give some quick background for anyone that doesn't know about Our Hometown. We're a family business. We were founded in upstate New York in 1997. And we currently manage hundreds of newspaper websites and native apps from all across North America. Our platform is based on WordPress, and it's WordPress that's been customized for news publishers. So it's not just out-of-the-box WordPress. And so right out of the gate, you get something different, but also long-term, our number one priority is customer support. That's kind of what everything revolves around for us. And so, what the end result is, we have a constantly evolving platform on WordPress and a feature set that's always changing based on publisher feedback. Okay, and that's kind of what this whole presentation is going to revolve around because it's the publishers, it's you guys that are giving us the ideas for the innovations. So these 6 innovations are coming from publishers that are actually using the system, and they're determining what the platform needs to be. And they're working with customers and getting feedback there. So that's kind of what we're all centered around. But I want to just give you a quick outline here. For the next 30 to 45 minutes, we're going to discuss these 6 features. These are the 6 innovations that came out of customer feedback, customer questions, just opportunities for improvement that we saw from feedback. So if we could take a quick second. And thank you, everyone, for chiming in. Stephen, welcome. Ashley, welcome. Thank you all for saying hello. If you could, in the questions area, type which of these titles sound the most interesting to you, which of these features, just not really knowing the details of them, just hearing the name, I'd be interested, just from a market research perspective, which of these kind of drew you in today, I guess you could say. Okay, so if you could drop that in the questions area. No time limit on that, so at any time start putting in comments there. It's fine. Now what I want to do is go to the frequently asked questions. So Terry, can you tell us a little bit about the #1 FAQ of 2020?
Sure. I thought this one was really interesting, especially that it's #1. This came from a publisher in northern Arizona. He says, I keep hearing about the increasing popularity of podcasts. How are other publishers getting into producing audio content?
Right. Excellent. Yes, this is from a publisher at the group Signals AZ. We're going to look at a case study from him. And yeah, I think this is a great question. A lot of people are interested in getting into audio. Maybe personally, as a publisher, you listen to podcasts so you can see how the market would be there. But if you look at the statistics, I think I just looked at a report, something like 37% of the US has listened to a podcast in the last 30 days. The number is rising exponentially every year. So it's not really a question of whether we want to produce the audio content. It's just a question of how can we do it in a way that's actually profitable. And what we would look at from a technical perspective is how we can automate as much of the process as possible to get our costs down for the production. And then any revenue that we can generate from this feature would be pure profit. So let's take a look at audio articles. That is the first feature, the biggest innovation of I'd say 2020. This feature automatically transcribes all the text articles on your website into mini podcasts. Okay, and basically you have all these options to configure the tone of the voice, the accent, how they, kind of even I forget exactly what the term is, but just different accents, the male or female voice. Audio ad is another option so that you can insert at the beginning of every article on the site an audio ad. So this is how you're going to monetize it. I'm going to show you an example on Signals AZ right now. Okay, so Signals AZ, this is an online-only publication. They have this multi-platform advertising program that basically revolves around display ads that appear on the website as well as on their apps. It includes a newsletter program, social media promotions, but they've also expanded it in a really innovative way to include an audio articles sponsorship. Okay, so on every article on Signals AZ, they have this player at the top of the article, and so you can listen to the story. And we're going to check out an example of that right now, but I just want to point out a few things to keep an eye out for. The audio ad insert, that is going to be what plays in the first few seconds of the audio article, so that's the sponsorship opportunity, and also the banner ad above the player. I want to make sure that you notice that. So let's exit out of here and go to the audio article, and I'm just going to play this. Here's just any random story on the site. They all have this feature, so let's go ahead and take a listen. Hopefully this audio will come through okay.
Audible stories made possible by the Prescott Hearing Center. Get your free hearing test today. The Launchpad Teen Center is one nonprofit organization Foothills Bank has been supporting for several years, and for good reason. The Launchpad's mission is to incite teen confidence and empowerment through innovative community education and engagement. This organization facilitates this by providing teens in Yavapai County with educational and social opportunities that encourage learning, active community involvement, and the development of skills to become successful, empowered, contributing members of society, all in a safe and healthy environment free from discrimination.
Okay, so that is a sample. As you can see, the audio is very clear. You can understand every word, but this is actually a robot that's doing all the work for you. So I think that's the key. Anytime you're thinking about getting into the hot new thing like podcasts, you have to consider what are the costs of production, and this is a way to get your costs down pretty much as much as you possibly can, because this is going to create an audio file for you for each story. So that's why I say it's a mini podcast out of the gate. That's what you get. You get the player on every story, so you can listen to one article at a time. But I would say, kind of a second innovation within this one would be to take those audio articles and put them together back to back into an audio edition. And so you could do that by just downloading. As a publisher, the process is to just click these three dots, and an option to download the audio file appears. And then you can basically import this into some type of audio editor, GarageBand, or you could use something like iMovie and actually create a movie at the exact same time as you're creating the audio file. So let me break that down a little bit. Audio articles edited into a podcast. As I said, there's an option to download the audio file yourself just from the audio article. And then you can open up iMovie, and it's all just drag and drop. So you can just drag in those individual stories, line them up back to back, and then you can use any images from the story, like the featured image, as the visuals if you're doing iMovie. And then just kind of apply a little Ken Burns effect to match the narration. If you have a picture with a lot going on in it, you can kind of zoom in on different areas of the picture depending on what is being discussed in the narration. And then you can publish a video and an audio podcast at the same time. That's why, again, I like doing video, because you get kind of 2 for 1. And let me show you this example here. This is a fun one. This is a video that we produced from content on the Clark County Democrat. This is a paper down in Alabama, and we're really just trying to promote subscriptions through video and audio. That's the purpose of this feature. So let's go through, and I'll share my screen Hopefully the audio is good on this. And we'll watch a little bit more of this so you can see the variation that you can do. You can really have fun with the images and the text for the visuals. So let's take a look.
You are listening to the Clark County Democrat Audio Articles podcast. To get unlimited access to all the news on clarkcountydemocrat.com, you can subscribe for just $8 per month. Use the coupon code PODCAST to get your first month for just 99 cents. Again, that's coupon code PODCAST to get your first month for just 99 cents. Now, let's head to the news.
Commissioners start new terms. 3 re-elected Clark County commissioners were sworn in for new terms November 11. At left, Jackie Ray Rush takes the oath from probate judge Valerie Davis as his grandafter, Adley Rush, holds the Bible. Center, Tyrone Moy was installed by Circuit Judge Gaines McCorkadale as his daughter, Jessica, held the Bible. At right, McCorkadale administers the oath to Rondell Rum.
To read or listen to the full story, head to clarkcountydemocrat.com.
Okay, I'll just pause right there just to point out, with these things, we don't want to be giving away any content. So we're basically just creating a video and audio teaser with this audio edition. Okay, and I want to show you one more here that has some really interesting use of visuals.
Bradford seriously hurt in wreck. A young man was seriously injured when his pickup collided with another on Highway 84 just east of Coffeyville about 5:36 p.m. Thursday, November 12th. Hayden Joe Bradford, 18, of Syring, was picked up by a helicopter ambulance and taken to a mobile hospital. He suffered extensive injuries and lost a leg. Bradford was traveling east on 84 in a 2005 Chevrolet Silverado pickup. Robert Dwayne Broadus, 54, of Thomasville, was driving a 2010 GM.
To read or listen to the full story, head to clarkcountydemocrat.com.
Okay, so those are a couple examples of how this could actually look as an end product. It's kind of an evolving idea for us, but we are at the Signals Group, they are doing the podcasting. They are creating full audio editions from their audio articles. So these are some ideas that are in practice. Okay, and then this is just a quick screenshot of iMovie, and I tell you, if you have a Mac and you haven't tried it, you'll learn it in about 10 minutes. It's incredibly easy interface. So if you're interested in getting into video, that would be the program I would recommend. Okay, so now it looks like most of the people here, I'm just gonna point out that most of the feedback, it looks like it is interested in apps. So let's move on to that one. Vera, I think you've got our next FAQ for us, right?
Yes, I sure do.
Okay.
This question was from a publisher just outside of Richmond, Virginia. Since the site is mobile responsive, do I need a native app?
Right. Great question. And this is something I would say that we've actually been asking ourselves for many years, whether or not we really needed to be doing native apps. We decided to start doing them about 5 years ago, just got into them and recently redesigned it. But this is a good question because, as you know, on our hometown and really on all WordPress sites, they're automatically mobile responsive. So all that mobile traffic, which is rising every year, it's something around 70 to 80% for a lot of our customer sites. That traffic is being taken care of. They're having a good experience because they're on the mobile browser. But do you need a native app? I would say you don't need it for the basic, to serve that audience that's on mobile. But it does come with some really unique benefits, and I would want to point those out in a minute. So, and those are the innovations that I want to talk about. So our next FAQ, we actually had one from Connie, right, Terry, related to apps.
Yep. She says, I used to have an app for my paper, but it cost a fortune and I could never get a hold of the guy who built it for me. I am thinking about a new app, but my funds are limited. How much are apps and will they work on iPhone and iPad? And how does it work with subscriptions for using a paywall?
Right. So there's a lot to this question, and I think anyone that has done an app before probably has a lot of these same questions because it's like, I already invested all this and there was all these issues before. So it's important to have a fully integrated app with your website. So, when you're using a third-party app developer, that's when you're going to have those issues. With our apps, they're fully integrated and they are hybrid apps. So this is what I would recommend. This is an innovation that we made. It's kind of a technical back-end innovation, but to have one app, it's basically the equivalent of a mobile responsive website. Because years ago, there was still that debate of whether there were going to be mobile sites, desktop sites, and for a long time, people have been developing iOS and Android apps in parallel but separate. What we have is one app that works across both platforms. And it's fully integrated with the WordPress site so that you can instantly publish everything that goes on the website automatically goes on the app. And also the digital subscriptions are all integrated. So you purchase a subscription on the website, you log in once through the app when you download it, and then you've got unlimited access. But I would say the reason to get an app, in my mind, this is the big thing that sets it apart from the mobile responsive interface, is the customizable push notifications. Just push notifications alone are enough of a reason, because that's, again, a way to get people's attention that's very effective. But the fact that the user can customize the push notifications, I think, really makes this a top innovation of the year. So let's talk about the Henrico Citizen for a second. They also have a multi-platform advertising program. They're an online-only publication, so they work with display ads on the website. They have the newsletter, social media promos, but they've also rolled out iOS and Android apps with the customizable push notifications. So what that looks like is this. When you first download the app, you're going to get this welcome screen that allows you to set your notification preferences. There's a couple that are set by default, but you can opt in for any additional ones. And we're basically, teaching the user at this point that not only can you modify them now, but you can come back and edit them at any point. So this would be what it looks like, if I select opt in for all these categories, and then, I'll just start using the app. This is what the index page looks like. And then we've got the article page. So basically, the key thing here, though, is that at any point when they're on that index page, they've got this hamburger menu where they can come back to edit their preferences. So if they're getting too many notifications, they can, pare that back. Because I think we've all experienced the situation where you download like a news app and you just get way too many notifications. You either turn them off completely, or worst case, you delete the app. So we want to avoid that and give the user control. Okay, so drop any questions you have on apps in the chat box. I'll just keep moving on, because this is going to be a rapid fire from here on out. That first one probably took the longest because there was the most to it. But let's talk about the next FAQ. I think this is from Terry, and this is a very common FAQ.
Yep, this is actually my favorite. How can I get content online without copy paste? When people ask me that, I get so excited because of what we have to offer.
Right. Well, yeah, and a little bit of background. Our hometown's been doing this for the whole history of the company. We've been helping publishers get their content online, without the mundane labor of copy and paste. But what we're talking about here is actually just kind of changing that workflow. So this is for Wes, and I think a couple other people interested in reverse publishing. So this is a paper, this is a real case study of a paper that was on full service PDF extraction for years, since 2004. And this is the Garden City News. She came to us in 2015 and said, I want to redesign the whole workflow. I want to launch a bunch of my other papers that don't have websites yet, and I want them all to be digital first, reverse publishing, from the get-go, right out of the gate. Okay, and so what that means is that she's composing the articles on the website, and her, all her editors are submitting content to her, and then she just enters it into the website. But technically, you could have all your writers just enter it directly into the CMS and just minimize the work there. And then we provide a bulk export via XML to InDesign. And that's really what makes it the feature. That's the feature, is the bulk export. I mean, anyone can write stories on WordPress and then copy and paste it to InDesign, but we want to eliminate all copy and paste in either direction. So the bulk export allows you to get it all into InDesign in this drag and drop format, and then you can just drag it into the template with, hopefully if you have some boxes laid out, some type of a preset theme. We did a whole virtual conference on this, so there's an hour-long interview with Meg at the Garden City where she walks through her whole process step by step. So definitely check that out. Ourhometown.com, go to the virtual conference section for that. Okay, so I think I've addressed all questions that have come up so far. Terry and Vera, any comments on this? Anything to add on reverse publishing? I think
No, I'm good.
that one's a pretty straightforward one. Okay, so feel free to drop in your questions at any time, but let's move on to our next FAQ, which I think is from Vera?
Yes, that's right.
Okay.
This question came in from an editor in Iowa. Do you integrate with any third-party word processors like Microsoft Word or Google Docs? I absolutely love this one.
Right. Yeah. So this is another one similar to the one before, because the integration is what would eliminate the copy and paste. So I think this is one that we see more and more with the online-only publications too. But this was another FAQ. Vera, can you tell us a little bit about, or Terry, sorry, tell us a little bit about this one, because we've heard this a couple times recently.
Yeah, it's been more common with COVID and people working from home. So we had one site that in particular where the publishers didn't really want outside writers or staff members to have full access to the board, to the dashboard. But
right.
Everyone was familiar with using Google Docs. That was their main process.
Right.
Everybody wrote their articles in Google Docs, and then they ended up having to copy paste again.
Right.
Into WordPress. So they were looking to us for a way to make everything just magically go from Google Docs to their website.
Exactly. Right. And with word processors like Docs that are in the cloud, that actually becomes possible in a way that isn't necessarily with Microsoft Word documents. So we built this add-on to do it, because that's the bottom line. You just need to connect these two word processors. We've got the article editor on CMS, on the WordPress CMS, and then we've got your doc. So we just need to create that connection, and Google has the facility to develop add-ons, and so that's what we built. Basically, the way it would work is your staff would use Google Docs as a common word processing tool, and then use the add-on to publish to WordPress. So you're doing all your composition, all your editing in Google Docs, and you actually never have to leave the doc. You can log into the website through the add-on. Okay, that's actually the interface. And then once you're logged in and you've authenticated the Google Doc, then it's just one-click publishing to WordPress, and also saving changes can all happen through this interface. So this is what it would look like. Basically, once you log in, everyone recognizes this interface here in the middle, the Google Doc. Once you activate the add-on, then you've got this sidebar here where you've got all the same controls that you have in WordPress. So you can set the edition, set it as draft or published, change the category. It's all accessible right here. So that's the beauty of it. And then if you just scroll down on the right column here, you've got the option to publish or update the article. And here's where you would set your featured image. So it's basically like just opening up WordPress within Google Docs through this API. Okay. So again, rapid fire here. We're finishing it up. I think we've got two innovations left today. So what's our next FAQ? Is that from Vera, I think?
That's correct. Yes. This one came from a digital first publisher in Ohio.
Right.
We currently have a reader submission form so readers can send us news items. It's a bit of a process for us to go through the submissions, create an article, and then publish the article on our site and in print. Do you offer anything that might simplify the process for us?
Right. And so this was, as you said, an online-only publisher, and actually we're going to talk about him. He's at the Euclid Observer, and he's got a very unique model. He's exclusive. I think it's exclusively user-generated content. Maybe he writes some of the articles, but he basically has writers submit articles to the website, and he goes through the editing and the approval. And so EuclidObserver.com launched with Our Hometown in September 2020. before they came to us, they had this user-generated model, and so we had to kind of build it into our system to make it work the way he had it before. And the way that was is that the writers come in, they can create a free login. Anyone can create a login on the site. They just give you their email, create a password, and then they can submit articles and images via a form. So again, it's similar to the Google Docs because they're not logging into the dashboard and they're not just creating content directly on the site. They're submitting it through a form. But the thing that's different about like letters to the editor that a lot of our customers are used to using, the difference here is that these articles will appear as drafts directly in the CMS. So it just eliminates that step of copying and pasting from the form entry into the article, and also then downloading the images that were submitted. It just goes straight into the CMS as a draft article, and then the publisher can just review and make any changes and then publish on the website. And then the final thing that brings it all full circle here to the other feature is the paginator then reverse publishes a print edition monthly. So they're doing a really neat model. Something that I've heard a lot of online-only publications talking about is, getting into maybe monthly or quarterly print editions. So he's actually been able to do that. Okay. Okay, I think that unless there's any other questions on that at all, I think we're down to our final FAQ. And this is one of my top 2 favorite features that we're going to talk about just because of the amount of time it can save everyone. So for our final FAQ, this is from Terry. Walk us through this one.
Yep, this one comes from upstate New York. He says, until recently, I had a freelancer updating our social media pages and was developing a decent audience there. Due to COVID, I've had to let her go, but I'd like to keep those pages current. Do you have any options that would help my small in-house staff keep up with posting articles regularly to social media?
Right, not to the website, exactly. Yeah, so a lot of the options that are out there, there is the technology for this. Services like Hootsuite do this for you, but we now have a plugin that'll just do it straight from the website. So you don't even need to update the Hootsuite or have that account at all. So we are currently testing it for our marketing, and we're ready to release it to any of our hometown customers that want to try this out. So anyone on the call that wants to test this plugin, you can be one of the first. But basically on our marketing website, we publish 2 to 3 blog posts a week and automatically share those posts across social media. It automatically publishes when we publish the articles on WordPress. It goes across Facebook, we have Twitter, LinkedIn. I don't think we use Instagram now, but that's possible. Another option besides the auto publish is to schedule. So you can, just like you schedule an article, there's another block right underneath the scheduling of the article on the website to schedule it for social media. And again, you can just do all your platforms in one shot with this method. So it's a huge time saver. Again, a replacement for something like Hootsuite. And it also gives you the option to share to Facebook pages and groups. So if anyone's using groups, that's kind of like a specific type of page on Facebook that has a lot of interesting properties. But I think most people have Facebook pages for their newspaper at this group, so we could definitely integrate with that. But yeah, that's like I said, just okay. Thank you very much for letting us know. We'll follow up with you guys on this one, especially Allison. I know you're very active on social media, so we can save a lot of time there. Okay, so that's all I've got for you today. Let's get some feedback from y'all, if you don't mind telling me, now that you know what all these features are. And again, that was a real fast review. I know we didn't get to go in a lot of depth. We're going to have follow-up virtual conferences that go into more detail on those. But just knowing what you do now, which of these would you be most interested in for your website, if you could add any of them? I'd be very interested in that feedback. So you can either drop a, oh, I don't have the numbers on here, sorry. But I'll come back to this slide. I just want to wrap it up here. I'm done with my presentation, so unless there's any other questions that come in, okay, thank you for that feedback, appreciate it. Unless there's any other questions on these features today, I'm going to wrap this up. And again, thank you to the Lion Publisher Group for organizing this and promoting it for us. just want to let you all know this is my schedule for the upcoming virtual conferences. And as you can see, a lot of these topics were covered today. So we're going to do a deep dive on audio articles for our next one. We're going to be talking about, well, this is for the Illinois Press Association. We'll be talking about revenue, growing subscribers. And then this one is just kind of like a general topic on the mobile audience. So we'll be talking about native apps, but also mobile responsive design and just keeping that in your focus. And I think that's all I've got for you today. So if you have any questions, drop them in the chat box. We'll hang around. We can answer them through chat, or I'll stick around for a little bit longer too. But if you want to register for a virtual conference, go to /virtualconferences, ourhometown.com/virtual-conferences. Anyone on the call today that's not already on our platform, please contact us. I'd love to set up a demo and show you what we could do for you. We could do a prototype on our platform of your publication. Just go to our-hometown.com/contact us. It should be really clear if you go to our homepage how to do that. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, appreciate that, Wes. I thank you for the feedback. Okay, so I think I'll just leave it, the screen up here for a minute. Actually, you know what? I'm going to go back because I still am getting feedback on your favorite features. So let us know what stands out to you. And again, my name is Matt Larson. We've had Terry and Vera on with us today. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us. Really appreciate all the engagement in the chat and the questions area. And I'll be sure to follow up with everyone on your questions. So thank you so much for your time.